Well, hello. We are Dr. Emilio Cañadas and Dr. Isabel Morales, and we are here to present our study. I hope everything is going well and the video is okay. Our presentation is entitled Silent, Empowered, and Resilient Women in Box, the 21st Century Dystopian Novel by Christina Dalcher. And we've been working on this study for the conference Nodos del Conocimiento. And this is the symposium Estudios Literarios y Pensamiento. During our presentation, we are going to deal with these aspects, and particularly speaking about the objectives, methodology, and what the story is about, in order to analyze these elements, these aspects within the novel, which we've considered are very important for us. So we will focus on them and then reaching some conclusions concerning the main objectives. So we know that historically women writers have avoided silence, and this is why they try to give voice to the female characters in their novels, creating dystopian worlds, with the aim of providing them with a space or place in society in order to prove their capabilities and relevance, and most importantly, to show how indispensable they are by giving them social power over their male peers. As a justification, we were thinking of how we could, where we come from. So, and what we saw is that even in the turn of the century, dystopian worlds are still being created in literature and other artistic representations and cinema. And they've been caused by the social, economic, and political situations that we're witnessing. So we are especially keen in observing such situations and analyze how it is presented in the novel by Christina Dalcher, published in 2018, entitled Box. What is our main objective? Well, mainly we base our study on proving that 3 decades afterwards, after Edwards, The Handmaid's Tale, published in 1985, and more than 4 decades from The Left Hand of Darkness by Ursula K. Le Guin or Joanna Russ, The Female Man, dystopia is still a literary genre. We could say it even a fashionable literary genre to vindicate women's voice. Therefore, we will try to shed light and understand how Christina Dalcher, almost half a century ago, presents the imagined and dystopian world in her novel. In order to shed light on it, we also stated some more specific objectives within our analysis, and that is to contrast the concept of dystopia created in the 20th century against more recent or more current trends and the different way of vindicating women's voice and identity. So we will try to demonstrate the 21st century writers how they use different strategies to represent women's dystopias. And what they did was, according to our analysis and novel, to choose a model of empowerment and resilience through silence. So a different way of introducing and using silence, and to show how it is used or it is presented in Vox, turning silence into empowerment. And finally, proving the appearance of a new woman character in literature as an indispensable component to heal a sick society. And this is what we will try to focus on. This is the main plot of the story, and considering that there is a kind of a new resilient savior who ends up obtaining social, professional, and family recognition, something that we try to clarify by means of some evidence or some quotes, not that we've extracted from the novel. And what is the methodology that we focus on? So the present study follows the literary analysis method that goes beyond literature by introducing components such as social and gender aspects. And the focus is given on transforming reality into literature in order to understand human thinking, in this case through Christina Dalcher's novel. So now Emilio is going to take the floor and let us know about the story and the analysis of these facts and these points. Emilio.
Okay, thank you, Isabel. Well, about the storyline, in short, Box's story takes place in the United States, a very different United States, in which half the population has been silenced. And it is women, particularly, that have been silenced. Only one woman, and only due to a specific situation, will manage to protect herself and her daughter from an adverse dystopian government whose laws have prevented humans, especially and specifically women, from speaking, uh, taking language from them, as it is important for Dalcher, as she has summarized and explained in some interviews, um, as for example, one with Jill Greenewald. In the story, the situation breaks down symbolically when Jean, the main protagonist and neurolinguist, is required by the government to save the life of the president's brother when he suffers a brain accident that prevents him again from speaking. A part of his brain, the Wernicke's area, is damaged. He suffers from what is called Wernicke's aphasia and cannot produce language. So the expert in neurolinguistics, Jean, that one that was like the rest in the novel, stopped or prevented from speaking, is the only one who can save him. For that reason, she is permitted to speak and work. And although at the end, the word for which Jean is required, we are not going to say more here, goes further and is used for a government plot. So really this storyline take us to three lines, as the title of the presentation read: silence, language, empowerment, and resilience, that, as you're going to see, are all connected one way or another, and that one takes to the other, and the other one, and the other again back to the first one. Starting by language, as you know, language historically is the key factor in dystopias, male dystopias such as George Orwell's 1984, with the creation of Newspeak, or Aldous Huxley, A Brave New World, studied in depth in The Language of Dystopia, for example, by Sidney Peary. They situate, as Dutchess does, language as the point. But in the case of Dutchers, is the repression of that language. So that is silence, what is the key factor. So in Vox directly, we find a muttered society. There is a physical silence. Women cannot speak. Women have only 100 words that are to speak every day, and these words are measured by a counter. So that affects clearly human relationships, how to express feelings, etc. Ask yourself, for example, if you had only 100 words per day, which words would they be? In the opening of the story, is the own author who connects, and the narrator also, who connects not only language and silence, but also empowerment. This is the only the own author who saying that if she had known the power she was going to have with the figure of the president, and so he wouldn't she wouldn't say a thing. She says that she is a woman of few words. And in the quotations that you see in the screen now, you can see a couple of examples where in the same beginning, the narrator tells us how women lost the language by this dystopian situation, but not only the language, but also their rights and privileges. And in that situation, aphasia, which is a severe language breakdown that affects language production, is key, and it's a great narrative strategy. So it's curious that the author situates aphasia as the center and knowledge the power to that. As Jean is a neuroscientist, a neurolinguist, investigating the cure, curiously enough, for aphasia, what before turned silence as a mean of repression, now unexpectedly and maybe contradictorily will pave the way to women's empowerment. Now the president requires Jean to save his brother, to find a cure for this lack of speech in the president's brother now. And in a couple of chapters or three, Jane, expert in these areas, is given voice. She's the only one that can speak, as she is prepared, as she has the knowledge, as she has the expertise. She's given the voice and the power to control the situation. Her research on the cure for that illness will situate her as the head of the Women's Society, and her research will make her a savior, which reinforces the idea of mastery and knowledge as the key for power at the end of the novel. And these two things that we analyze, silence and language, and how knowledge can make women able to speak, and to not only to speak, but also to become the gods of the plot, has to do necessarily also with the environment. All of the three are connected, and Isabel will come to resilience in the next slide.
Thank you very much, Emilio. Yeah, we're connecting these essential aspects that we've analyzed with the last part of it, which is kind of the situation in which the protagonist and the rest of women we presume that are going through. So how can women living in a dystopian society face with such a speech control? And as we can read here, they for sure they need to be mentally and emotionally flexible, and they're going to show the degree of behavioral adaptability. What is the necessary resilience to adjust to any internal and external demands? And that is what Jane does. So she's going through this situation, and she must adapt well in the face of adversity, trauma, stress, or significant sources of stress, whose silence results in empowerment to heal physical silence, as Emilio has explained before. So now, just to conclude our presentation, we would like just to say that we can affirm, no, that the dystopian genre is still a fashionable literary genre, and they're vindicating women's voice, no, to have a place and achieve the right to speak. But what we found out, and curiously, that this new dystopian line of the new century in the purest Hollywood-style comedy is quite different from the 20th century. You know, the denouement shows 21st century women successfully obtaining social, professional, and family recognition, in contrast with 20th century dystopian literature, women who are in constant vindication for rights, equity, and empowerment. So they have not been awarded with this situation yet. So this is the end of our presentation. Thank you very much. I hope we hope that you enjoy it. And any questions, please write in the website, and we'll try just to give an answer. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.